The nation of Germany, as recently as the 1700s, was a loose confederation of nation-states, led by wealthy families and the aristocracy. The Rhineland region lay in a fertile valley along the Rhine River, and the object of warring and marauding armies. By the mid-1700s, the Rhineland region was racked in poverty and witnessed the greatest mass migration in human history. The vast majority of these immigrants left the shores of Europe to embark on a new life in the great expansive emerging colonies of America. Philadelphia was the landing spot for most of these immigrants, due to William Penn's Quaker settlements dominating the region. It was during this period of the great German migration that Johannes Zee, with Anna his wife and son, Johannes II, fled to the American colonies and landed in Philadelphia. Johannes Sr. would pass away in 1750 in Albany, New York, but his son Johannes Jr., with his wife Margaret, traveled down the Great Wagon Road and settled in what is today Hardy County, West Virginia. It is here in Hardy County, West Virginia, that George Zee was born in 1770 and began a long line of successive Zee generations. The homes that we detect today date from this early period clear into the 1900s, when the homes were abandoned but still remain in the family's line. We find artifacts from the early period and successive generations. Stay tuned. We are on site, and we are at the very first permission I ever got metal detecting. And it's a big permission, big farm. There's 3 home sites here. One from the 1700s, one from the 1800s, and one from the early 1900s. And I am joined here by Tom and by Gordon. And we're hoping that this is the first time anyone has detected this site. I've been told by the landowner no one's ever been here before. Maybe we'll get some buttons and buckles and coins and probably a lot of bullets and shotgun shells. All right, we'll see you at the first dig. All right, you guys, we are at the house site, and this is the front yard here, right in front of you. Gordon's down there by the pine tree. He's digging something down there. Tommy's over there on the other side of the house. He's digging something there. This is the foundation of the house here. And we just got here. This is my first plug. And I got something here. I'll let you listen to it. There we go. I see it right there. Oh, we got 2 of them. All right, so I got 2 rivets. And this house here burned down about 1900. Oh, it's probably an old, look at that. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so here's 2 rivets. There's a rivet here. There's a rivet there. And it's got leather on it. And there's a rivet here. And this looks like, I mean, look how thick that is. That's, no doubt in my mind, that's a piece of saddle right there. And so this house burned down 1900. It was built before the Civil War, so this house predates the Civil War. There's a house over here we're going to take a look at. It was built in the 1700s. And so my first hole, my first artifact are 2 rivets with leather, by the way. And I love that. Let's keep going. All right, what do we have here? Looks like an old plowshare. All right, well, just put this on the rock. This is the corner of the house right here. And I went over this way, and then it went back over this way. And I'm guessing the house was about a 16 foot by 20 foot or 14 by 20, which was a typical dimension for an old cabin. And right up here, I don't know if you can see through the trees, but there is a hunter's blind or hunter's cabin. So they fire down through here. So we also finding a number of rifle shells and shotgun shells. All right, our first cool artifact is this old Pioneer round ball. Took it out of the hole. It's reading a solid 18. That's what that is. It hit hard. That's awesome. All right, you guys, I found something really cool. Let's take a look. Like, I just pulled this beautiful piece out of the ground. Oh, that's awesome. Pioneer lid right there. Went on an old kettle pot. An old bean pot. Look at that. All right, that's awesome. I'm getting a collection of iron artifacts. I'll show it to you. We'll add this to the collection. We'll get some photos of everything before we leave. And I'll leave all of these here. But so far, this is what I have found. I found a hook right here. I found a loop. And I found, I don't know what it is. Another one of those. Another hoop. And then found that. All right, let's keep going. Gordon and I came out to the 1700s house site, and there is, I'll just show you, give you a little lay of the land. There's a big pile of rocks right there. There's a pile of rocks up there above Gordon, right up there. There is Gordon. Pile of rocks there. Corner of the house stood right here, where you see that rock, and it went across over here to that rock, and the wall comes back here. So the cabin stood right here. The door and the porch was this way, I believe. I got a good hit, and it is iron, but I think it's pretty cool. I started pulling it out, started looking at it. It is an old iron axe head, and it's been, you know, they've used it to pound. This has been this is not a shear. They've actually, this is flattened, so they've actually used it to pound, you know, probably logs as a log splitter. But that's what that is. That's pretty cool, and it's got the ears on there, so that's early. All right, not bad. Let's see what else we can find. All right, Gordon found something here. It's the first non-ferrous artifact found on this house site. And, oh, it's heavy. We don't know if it's a mold. It's very, very, very heavy. And it showed signs of being in a fire. Don't you think? There's a lot of ash in there.
Yep.
And I was told that this house did in fact burn down. But you did find something, and I have no idea what that is too.
It's one of those things.
Whatchamacallit. If you guys know what that is, have you seen it before? Comment below. All right, you guys. Gordon was over here showing us his piece, and while we were looking at it, I had a high tone here, and I popped it out, and I see it, and I think it's a part to a clock. But I wanted to show you something else. Here is some blue glass that clearly shows signs of melting. And the landowner here, this farm has been in his family from the very beginning. And he said his wife's great-great-grandfather was born here, and that this house burned down. And you can clearly see how this is melted. But let's see what this is. You know, I think that is the backing of a clock. It's brass. Very interesting. Is it 1700s old? It could be. Early 1800s. Let's find a buckle, a button, or a coin. And we definitely can determine its age. All right, let's keep going. All right, you guys, I think I found my first button. Popped the plug and pulled it out, and it plopped out. It is right there. Yeah, it could be a military button actually. There's the shank. Yep. Let me let that dry and I'll brush it off and we'll see if there's a design on there. Be cool if that's a military button. All right. Found the button right over there, and I got another good signal here, and it could be another button or it could be a coin. It's right in that range. See that? Right there. So I'm going to set you guys up and let you watch. A lot of rocks in here. A lot of rocks. Alright, hopefully we got it there. Hopefully we got it there. I don't see anything yet. I don't see anything yet. It's still in there. Oh, I see it. I see it. It's right there. It is another button. Yep. It's another button. And it looks like the same kind of button that I found right over there. All right. Maybe we'll get what is on there. Okay. Not bad. Let's keep going. All right, you guys, I found a third button, and I'm not going to show you every dig or every button I find if it's the same. But I don't know if they are the same. All I know is when I pull them out and I see them, and it's a button, I want to show you guys. Now, the other button I pulled out of the ground, by now you've already seen it. It looks like there's a little flower design on it. I was hoping they'd be military buttons, and they still could be. But here's one I just pulled out of the ground right here. Oh no, this is a different button. Oh, this absolutely could be military. Oh my. It's got a beautiful flower design on it right there. There's the back. We'll be able to get a back mark off of that. So that's a different kind of button right there. All right, number 3. Not bad. All right, guys, I found this piece of lead, and normally something like this I would not show you, but this one has a very unique and intentional design. Do you see that? The flare there on both sides. It's purposeful. It pops out right there, and it's got that indentation right there. And I found it here close to these buttons that I've been pulling out of the ground. And that was made. All right, you guys, I got another button, and it's different than the other buttons. I'll let you hear it. It read, let me put this away. It read a solid 18, and I'm hoping this is a little flat button, and it is. Yeah. Yep, this is a nice old button. Now this definitely can date this place. This is an old button, and this is a pre-1820 button right here. It's brass, it's flat, it has doesn't look like it has any writing on the back. That's an awesome find. Number 4. All right, you guys, I got Gordon right here. We've been sitting here chit-chatting. The house stood right here. I don't know if you can see the foundation wall right here, but it's right here. And there are piles all up through here. And he was asking where the old Pioneer Road was. And the old Pioneer Road stood up here beyond this pile up here. And when we go out, I'll try to go up there to show you. And the spring of the house stood up there above the house. And that's what the landowner told me. And we're trying to figure out, you know, I have found all the buttons and the artifacts over here on this side of the house, and all the iron artifacts and the rings and the horse tack over on this side of the house. So we think that they could have parked their buggies, their horses over here. I think the house entrance was over there and not off this side because it'd be too high. But there could have been a clothesline right here. And so anyway, I have found another button. I just started walking over this way. I had a good 16 signal. It was shallow. And I could see it. I'll show it to you. I'll show you what it reads. 16, which is also the same kind of signal that a rifle shell or a shotgun shell is. You guys see it yet? It is right here. And this is another old brass flat button. Here we go. Yep, and it looks like the same kind of button I found already, the other flat button. And this is number 5 or 6. I think number 5. I told Gordon, I said, I think there'll be a coin in here somewhere. Just gotta find it. All right. Don't know where Tommy's at, but he's gonna be mad. Hopefully not. Hopefully he's finding stuff. He's down at the other house. We got 2 other house sites on this property. And he wanted to go out and do an easier one, because this one here is just absolutely full of rocks, and it's the furthest away. And the most difficult. But we're finding artifacts here. All right, let's keep looking. All right, you guys, I got another good signal. I found the one button here. I got a signal here. It's a little higher than that signal. That was a solid 16. This is a solid 18. I'll let you listen. Yeah, now it's 16, 17. So I'm going to set you guys up, and let's take a look and see if that's going to be a button. Oh, there's so many rocks in here. So many rocks. Makes digging very, very difficult. It's in my hand. There it is. Oh, that's a different that's a different style of button. Looky there, that's a little cuff button. It's got a loose shank on it. We're not gonna mess with that. It's a little cuff button. All right. All right, you guys, I have another hit, and I can see it. It's an 18, and I already put my shovel down, but it's right there. It is another button, and this one actually, is it? It could be the other half of a rivet, which is what I think it is. I think it's the other half of a rivet. So it's not a button, but it sure rang up like one. All right, let's back it and keep going. I just figured something out with this house. It is a bigger house. It's a bigger house than that last house. And it has a chimney pile. I told Gordon, I said, there's a corner over there against where that tree is, where he's at. There's a corner right here. There's a corner right here where this tree is, and there's a corner over there. And this house here was a sizable house. But there was a kitchen that came this way. And right here is the chimney stack. This is the chimney pile right there. And it has collapsed in this way. Yep, that's what it is. You can see it stacked right there. It's stacked right here. So this is the chimney pile right here. This is where the chimney stood. This was the kitchen. And there was the living part of the house. So this was actually a sizable house right here. All right, you guys, I'm right off the chimney pile. And I told Gordon, I said, there probably was a door on this side right here. Could have been one over there on that side as well. I found the buttons over there. I told him, I said, there could have been a clothesline over there. I had a hit here. I haven't pulled the object out. It's not that high. It sounds like a shotgun shell. But as I took my first plug, here, let me get out of that where you can see. I started pulling stuff out and I see china. I see porcelain. This is porcelain. So that absolutely confirms to me that this was a kitchen right here. Here's another piece. There we go. There's a top. So this was a cup, probably a cup. I'll take that out, show the landowner. Okay. Something's right here. We'll go ahead and look at that. But I see something right here too. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? What did you find?
Right here in this hole.
Yeah, harmonica reed.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, these were really popular here in the mountains. You can see where the reed was right there. Very cool. Very nice. Way to go.
Thank you.
All right, I just pulled this out of the ground. Hinge for a door. I think it's an old hinge for a door. They nailed that into the door. And this, the door would go down in that and swing. So I bet you there was a gate right here. Right here. And right here is the old chimney. Right there. And I bet you that was a hinge. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right. Okay, I wanted to show you. This is the tributary, and it's running pretty good. And this is the water. This is the spring. The house stood right over here. In fact, you might be able to see Gordon. Gordon is still over there. The garden to the house stood right up here. And there's a very distinct stone wall around the garden. And this is the spring where they got their water. Right here. And it is flowing. It's flowing pretty good. I tell you, it's hot out here. And that water sure does look refreshing to me. All right, you guys, I told you guys I'd take you to the old road. There is stone lined up right here. And there is stone lined up right here. And this is the old roadbed right here. And it went out through here. And the landowner says that it went up and it went up through the low gap right up through there. And went across the mountain there down into the Shenandoah Valley of Virginia. And there is a stone wall right here. Take you around here. Let me pull you over here. There's a stone wall right through here. Huge tree, and it goes back to a corner, and then the stone wall goes back down this way. And there is a pile of rocks down there. You probably can't see it, it's beyond these pine trees. There is a big pile of rocks right here, and then there's a pile of rocks behind that. And this is where the garden actually stood, in this area here. So the garden stood right in here. The spring that we were just at is right over there. And the house site stood right down there where Gordon is, and the chimney pile is right behind him there. So that's how this farm laid out. And from what I can tell, and this road here goes right out to where the other house site stood. And we didn't find anything out there other than iron. So my guess is they didn't live in that house very long either. I think that house burned down shortly after it was constructed. But I don't know. That's kind of the story. I do know that this house burned down because we have found evidences that the house burned down, including melted glass. That house down there, I really didn't see any evidences of it, but the landowner says that his wife's grandfather lived there and it definitely burned down. So what we're going to do is we're going to work ourselves back to the other house. We're going to get a drink and we're going to see where Tom is. No idea. We have not seen Tom for quite some time now. Hopefully he's got into a hot spot and he's been doing pretty good. If not, he's going to be jealous of what we found. All right, let's pack up and head out. All right, you guys, welcome back. We are going to do our wrap up and we are going to hit the road and we are going to get a bite to eat and some ice cream to top it off, right? Mm-hmm. It's a hot day. We had a great time. We had fun. We hit all 3 house sites. The last house site we barely just skipped. I mean, we barely hit because there was a ton of shells there. But Tommy, you guys didn't see him at the old site we were at. Tommy was at the second site and then he came down to the first site. Gordon and I were at the third site and the second site, and we found Tommy at the first site. And all 3 sites, I don't know, 500 yards, 1,500 yards apart, somewhere around there. Anyway, we're going to show you what Tommy found. Tommy?
It was a spectacular day. I cleaned up all the yard so I can go ahead and start reloading shotgun shells. The only thing I'm curious about is this little piece here because it looks like a tiny measuring cup. So it's got something on the back of it.
For the coffee pot. This is where the coffee pot
is. That's the top of a coffee pot. So,
okay. I found the backing of a clock. I found 4 rivets still in leather, and thick leather at that. I think that is a saddle, piece of saddle. I found 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 buttons and a musket ball, and 3 pieces of shot lead and a very interesting formed lead there. That's what I found. And Gordon's over here trying to find a piece of lead he dropped, or probably 22 casing. This is what Gordon found. He found some square nails. He found a harmonica reed. We found some melted glass, some bits and pieces from a door that was on a stove. This we could not figure out. Do not know what that is, if you guys have ever seen anything like that. Obviously it's a lid to something, but it's hollow. And this, we showed you that. Melted glass. So the house definitely burned up there. I showed you some of that melted glass too. So that's what we found. Did you have a good time?
Absolutely. I loved every minute of it.
Loved every minute. You have a good time, Gordon?
Absolutely.
Had a great time.
Wonderful.
I had a great time too. Thank you guys for tagging along with us, joining us on this adventure. We hope that you'll join us on the next one. Hit like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next adventure.